Hey, today I'm gonna make a DIY landmine attachment just like this one for less than $20. Hey, this is Greg with Discovering Strength, the channel focused on fitness tips, product reviews, and occasionally how-to for the average guy or girl trying to get in shape through strength training. If you like what you see, consider subscribing below. Alright, so today I'm going to be making a DIY landmine attachment for less than $20. In a previous video that I made, I talked about my Titan Fitness landmine attachment and how I wasn't very happy with how it only went vertically and not laterally as well. And in that video I got a number of comments saying that potentially I mounted it incorrectly to my rack, which I'm gonna look into, and I do really appreciate those comments. But in the process of making that video, I thought to myself, you know what, I don't see a great product out there for what I want to do, and so I'm gonna see if I can just make my own DIY version. So in the process of trying to find a way to make the DIY landmine attachment, I stumbled across a video from Kaizen DIY Gym, and I'll put the link to that video in the description below. But basically I'm following his model to make this. It's very simple, so let's get started. Alright, so first off, I'm going to go ahead and take you through all the materials I'm using for today. So the two main components you're going to need is a caster wheel. This one is a 4-inch caster wheel. I'll provide a link in the description below to this and the other materials I'm using. But essentially what you do is you take off the wheel, and using this PVC pipe, this is a 2-inch PVC pipe, you just pop it right in there and connect it, and that's basically your landmine. And I'll note that the caster I'm using is a swivel caster, so that I can get the lateral movement as well as up and down. And a few tools that I'm using. I've got a saw that I'm going to use to cut the PVC pipe, and then I've got a cordless drill for a few other things. And then I'd finish it off with, I have some spray paint. I'm going to spray paint the components so that it matches with my other stuff in my gym. Alright, so the first step is going to be cutting the PVC pipe down to 12 inches. Alright, so now that I've cut that to size, I'm going to go ahead and remove the wheel from the caster. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and spray paint the components black. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and drill a hole in the PVC pipe so I can connect it to the caster. I'm using a 3/8 inch drill bit for this. Alright, so a few things I had to change a little bit. So I ended up using a 1/2 inch drill bit to drill through this. In retrospect, I probably would have drilled the hole before I painted, but that's fine. And then the other thing I discovered is that this gap right here in the caster was a little too narrow, so it restricted the movement. So I basically just had to try to pull these apart a little bit to create a little more space so it sat in there easier. And I'm sure there are better ways to do this, but I just got some wrenches and kind of pulled it out. Alright, so now that I've got it assembled, now I am going to go ahead and mount it here. For me, I'm just going to mount it onto my lifting platform. I've also seen that others can sort of figure out a way to mount it onto the rack. I'm not going to do that for now. I'm just going to mount it directly to the platform. I think that will keep it secure. Alright, so there you have it. I finished installation here. It's attached to the lifting platform, and you know, it looks to blend in pretty nicely. Like I said, I probably would have spray painted after I had done a few of these things, but I think it matches the rack pretty well. Now we'll go ahead and put it to use. All in all, I'm really happy with how this turned out. Like I said, this was less than 20 bucks for all of the materials, and this is moving really smoothly, both laterally and vertically. Alright, so there you have it for the DIY landmine attachment. Let me know in the comments below if you got any questions or comments, and we'll see you next time.